Facebook. Morning. Hey, morning, everybody. How's it going? Just a little pensive as I contemplate what's going on, and I'm just a little bit caught up in a story I was just reading about a 3-year-old child who was killed recently by her mother's boyfriend, and it's amazing to me how these things happen in terms of who is accountable, who is held accountable. So I'll tell you what the story is. I'll give you the story surrounding this. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. We're looking nice and bright, huh? Had a good day as usual. I kid you not. I think there's something about the weather. There's something about sunshine that just makes you, doesn't it? Just makes you, and of course, doing your Shavasana every morning and opening your heart, right? So your heart is whole and healed, right? And stretching your arms out. I don't care. They're my arms. I'm 52 and they look great. I'm healthy. I'm in the best health of my life. I'm so grateful to be in front of you and to believe, to think that I'm still here with all this craziness that's going on. I expect victory every time. And I expect to be here forever. I expect to be here for a very, 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 very long time. I certainly eat like it, right? Every now and then I do digress and eat Better Made potato chips. If you are ever in the Metro Detroit area, you've got to try these potato chips. They're made locally. They're called Better Made. They probably are in some 7-Elevens across the country now, but they're local. They don't taste like the national brands do. You know what I mean? They taste way better. They're not as salty. It doesn't leave that tangy metallic taste behind. It certainly doesn't give you a headache because it doesn't have the stuff on it that gives you a headache. And I kid you not, every now and then, that's all I digress to. When you hear me say I cheated, I probably had a slice of chocolate cake or something. Everybody eats chocolate, right? I'm allowed to do that. Right? I think so. I think I earned the right. My kids tease me all the time about, mom, like this morning when I was getting dressed, I'm wearing a tube top and a skirt. So, see, a tube top and a skirt, right? So my daughter is like, Mom, where are you going? That's a little too young. She's 17. And I'm like, look at you telling me that's a little too young. Wow. Should you be the one getting dressed? It's wait till you get to my age and you look like this. Then you will want to be young. She was dying. She's like, wait a minute, where are we going today? Let me see. Do you have a cover up? Do you have a top to put over there? So my oldest daughter says, yes, she always has a top. She has a top somewhere. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm still here. I can talk for myself. My youngest daughter just kept saying, Lisa, my youngest daughter is Annalisa. She kept saying, no, I'm not comfortable with you going out like that. You know what I did? I stepped right past it. In fact, I went to her room and took one of her tote bags and said, no, does this completely look? She was like, Mom, right? Fun times. It's summer, and in Michigan, our summer lasts all of maybe 90 days. So what we do is we enjoy it while it is. It is what it is, right? So I just wanted to say good morning and thank you. I had an actually good commute this morning. Thank you. 696. It was not bad. Thank you. My goodness, most mornings, 696 is like, harrowing. Like yesterday when I arrived here, I literally was like this. But this morning it was nice and easy. I think most people, it's Thursday. So what some people do in the summer is that they don't take a full 3-week vacation or 2 weeks vacation. What they do is they break it up. So they leave Thursday, Friday, out of the office Thursday and Friday, come back on Monday. Then the following week, they're out again Thursday and Friday, that kind of thing until they exhaust their vacation time. And I can't blame them. The days are so glorious. And northern Michigan is beautiful, right? So a lot of people just head out of town, or they go to northern Michigan. I personally, you would not find me going south during this summer. I am going further north. So in a few weeks, my daughters want to go to, they want to go up north. They want to go to northern Michigan And so we're going to head up there and, take advantage of the weather. They're like, let's go north. It's cooler. Just keep going north. And I'm like, darn, we sound like that movie The Day After Tomorrow. Have you ever seen it? The movie 2012. I kid you not, my first book, Visions, right? You should go get it. It's available on Amazon. All you have to do is to go to Amazon, type my name in, Harriet Kemick, and type books, and you will see my books pop up. Download it to your phone. They're all downloadable. They're all Kindle adaptable. They're available on other electronic platforms as well. And my first book, Visions, in it I talked about having dreams about what could happen if a weather event struck the planet, not just one country, because that's what we see often, but the planet. And I kid you not, the movie 2012 it looks just like what I imagined in the book. So if you're a lawyer out there, at some point I'm going to take those folks to task, because there are some parts of it that sound just like my book, right? So if you're a lawyer out there, DM me. If you're an entertainment lawyer or you specialize in copyrights or patent rights, let me know, right? I'm looking for one, because some parts of that movie 2012 are evocative of the stories told in my book. So anyway, so in the movie, there was the scene where it got so hot in the southern United States, because the north was melting, was getting frozen. So people were going further south, reverse migration, kind of. Is it really? And so in our everyday scenario right now, we look like we're going further north, because it's so unusually warm. Like just now, coming out of the car was 90 degrees. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. So this was about 9:15 when I got here. So 9:15 in the morning, and it's 90 degrees already. Whoa, what's going to happen when it turns the zenith of the day between 12 and 3? That's not going to be so hot. So make sure if you're going out, make sure you're covered. Your arms are covered, your face is covered. I don't care what color you are or what complexions you have. Just know that you should try to keep it covered, right? All right, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. So I was telling you about the story that I was just reading that popped up on my Instagram feed, and it's about a child abuse case that took place recently here in Detroit that had us all puzzled. Child abuse is not uncommon. Because it's becoming more, people are becoming more aware, it's becoming more reported, right? And this happened, the mother and her boyfriend. I can't begin to tell you how that just sets off alarms. The mother and her boyfriend. Why do women continue to think that having a boyfriend is going to help them raise their children? The boyfriend, especially when the boyfriend is not the parent of your children. So apparently they've been living in a motel because maybe they were evicted from where they lived. They didn't have anywhere to live. And the boyfriend was physically abusive to the children. Maybe he didn't have anywhere to go. So he was stuck with her, and she was probably paying the motel bill. So she left her children with him. The mother was aware. I don't know how she could do that. You know your child is being abused, and you still get up and go to work and leave your child with someone who is abusing them. That could not work for me. So in the end, the 5-year-old child, the little girl, died. So someone called 911 from the motel. And when the cops showed up, naturally they found this little girl unresponsive. They took her to the hospital to revive her, but she didn't make it. The minute the cops got there, though, they could tell that it's child abuse, but they waited for the medical examiner's report to determine that that was so. They found a 3-year-old boy there as well who exhibited signs of child abuse. So now we're getting the full story that the 5-year-old child had been beaten aggressively by the boyfriend. And the rest of us are just like, seriously? This is it? I mean, like, this is, you know what I mean? The rest of us are just like, ladies, would you please? Ladies, please. And so the story continues. So when you saw me come on, I was just caught up reading it and rolling my eyes like, here we go again. So it brings me to what I want to talk about today. What are you dressed up for? With the advent of gun violence, there's so many people, so many young people in particular. And I know for Generation Y, which is who you guys are, most of you are Generation Y, right? Generation X, then Generation Y, right? Generation Y are the millennial people, and then Generation Z. hmm There is Generation Z, and then the kids who are under 10, guess who they are? They're Generation Alpha. Are we all flaked out just now? Of course we are, because Generation Alpha are the kids who were born. Get this is all they know. Have you seen them? Like they're all these under 10-year-olds. They don't know what a laptop looks like. They look at a laptop like, what's that? And if you show them an older TV, they're like, what's that? Because all they know are flat screens and tablets. So you're holding a 5-year-old in your hand, and they're more adept at navigating the menus on your phone than you are. They open it and they're busy doing what they're doing, and you're like, oh, a 2-year-old baby just swiping, swiping, swiping. And you're like, right? So there's Generation X, Generation Y, who are the millennials, and Generation Z, who are the people after the millennials. So the people who are going to turn 18 in 2020, think of them. That's Generation Z. And then, of course, Generation Alpha, the people under 10, who all they have known, people, are tablets and so on. Interesting, isn't it? So they're the kind of next generation who are going to discover, they're probably the generation who are going to discover other ways of communicating, newer ways that we haven't thought of yet, because perhaps we are saturated. They do say technology is saturated. But I wanted to talk about, what are you dressed up for? What are people dressed up for? I mean, we see this all the time where people don't, in today's world, standards have changed. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of those persons who, I don't know that I'm not appreciative of the more comfortable ways of dressing, right? I myself, dress in athleisure wear most of the time because it's more comfortable. So I don't know that I'm necessarily turned off by it or against it. But I do notice that because of gun violence, there's so many young men. And when I say young, I'm talking about people under 35 who are dying. And it probably is the first time they've worn a suit. They're dressed up in a suit. And I'm like, what are you dressed up for? Where are you going? Dressed up for an eternal ride? Maybe, just maybe, if we had tried that before, it would have worked. And the reason I'm saying it is because I believe that we should always put our best foot forward. I don't know that laying out in a funeral pyre is putting your best foot forward, because what happens after that is nothing. What's laid out there is nothing, right? I believe that as we go through, like even when I wear athleisure wear, I still make it fluffy, still make it appealing, comfortable for me, but you would know it. You would think I've dressed it up, right? I think we need to look at life and dress and be a little bit more dressed. One of the things I have noticed is that clothes do bring something to you. It could be why subliminally most people are emulating celebrities, because they think if they wear those clothes, then it's going to make them feel a better way, but feel better about themselves. If they carry certain brand names, sunglasses or clothing or belts or shoes, then it simulates and it gives a story to their friends that I've made it, that I feel good about myself, I'm successful, the messaging behind it. Whereas not getting dressed at all is like, okay. But I've also found that when you get up in the mornings and you commit to getting dressed for the day, it prepares your mind to cope with what you have to do during the day. I find that when I get up in the mornings, I am ready to start my day because, I'm powered up, right? And but I think about what I'm going to wear from the night before, especially if what I have to do during the day requires me meeting with other folk. Then I think about what I'm going to wear, what the environment is like, and what kind of messaging do I want to convey to others? How do I want them to feel about me? Do you see what I'm saying? Because clothes are important. And I think in a lot, this is why, years ago, the grudge movement started because they wanted people to feel relaxed. They wanted to people to feel that, yeah, I might be a billionaire, but I'm just like you. It is said that Mark Zuckerberg has hundreds of gray t-shirts. You notice he wears gray t-shirts with black slacks all the time. They say he has hundreds of that. He just changes them out as frequently as he does during the day for different events. But don't get me wrong, when he has to go to a black tie affair, you best believe an Armani is what he's going to wear. So don't get it twisted. You see what I'm saying? So for different environments, you get dressed for different stuff. If you're going to play golf, you wear golf clothing. If you're going to the tennis match, the tennis game, you wear tennis clothing, right? If you're going to the club, well, they don't wear much anyway, right? I mean, clothing is optional, right? And if you're going to church, you wear clothing for that event, for that, environment. So I feel like getting dressed is an important part of your presentation. How do you put your clothes on? It says a lot about you, and it says a lot about how you will conduct yourself. I was a beauty queen years ago, and one of the things they used to do is they used to make us practice walking. A part of what they also made us do was practice simulating, if wearing your clothes and sitting in different environments if you had to entertain people for tea and so on. This is just part of normal upbringing. Most of us, we tell our children there is certain attire for the living room, there's certain attire for the bedroom, there's certain attire for different spaces in the house, because you want them to know how to behave. Well, when we were in this beauty pageant, they would let us simulate what it looked like to dress if you had to entertain people. And let's face it, that's what beauty pageants are about. You have to entertain your sponsor and the media, right? So you have to learn how to communicate with the media and how to talk to your sponsor, right? So one of the things that I think is lacking today is how to prepare young people for the world that they're going to live in. I find that people don't know how to present themselves. In fact, clothing and getting dressed is not taught as what it should be for. Presenting yourself in the best light, making sure that you communicate the right idea, the right image to the people whom you want to communicate it to. So I look at folks, you go to funerals and you see all these young people laid out, and I'm like, what are you dressed up for? Where are you going? Right? Sometimes you look at it and you're like, you waited all your life to be dressed for this occasion. You are going nowhere, but you're dressed to the best. Maybe we should apply this to something else. So it made me think about, what kind of messaging are we even giving young people? Today's world standards have changed so much. I mean, it's no longer, flattering to be considered elegant, because then you're deemed to be irrelevant and old. In today's world, it's everything hanging out all the time, irrespective of where. You just need to go to your social media feed to see what I'm saying. The messaging to women is that let it all hang out. That's how you're going to attract a man. That's how you're going to attract someone. Right? And so I feel like it's time for a change. It's time for us to address that quintessential question. How do I see myself? How do I see myself? I think if we answer that question, it's going to help a lot of us. I think people today are rammed by too many images, right? There's just too much stuff going on. People tend to be affected by, well, where are you going? Well, this is what is common. People wear their pants. I'm like, pull your pants up. Why are your pants sagging under your butt? Pull them up. Belt your pants, buckle your belt, stuff your shirt in. Even if you choose to wear a t-shirt, have you ever seen Mark Zuckerberg looking tacky or looking unkempt or disheveled? No, he's a billionaire. He dresses casually to make everyone in the room not be intimidated by his presence. But you couldn't say that he's shabby. You couldn't say that he's disheveled. Could you? No. What you find yourself saying is that I want to be like him, right? And I think most of us, you all are influencers. I think that's what we need people to see. We want other folks, especially people who are looking up to us, to say, I want to be, set a good example for how that should be, right? Make sure that even for yourself, getting dressed communicates an idea. I remember years ago, I could have been wrong then. I was going on a TV show to be interviewed about my books. And dude and girls, I put on a suit. I kid you not, I put on a power suit, a skirt suit. You know what happened? I knew what I was doing. I probably, most people, but to me, it was prime time. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. It's prime time to me. I wanted people to have this image that she knows what she's talking about. I put on a suit. When I got there, they respected that. Do you see what I'm saying? Am I saying that if I had walked in jeans and t-shirt, I don't know, they probably would have said, where are you going? But I made sure that I showed up in a suit. A few months before, or a year after that, I think, I was on another TV show out in Lansing. I put on a nice dress. When I walked into the room, everyone else was dressed casually. Maybe I should have felt overdressed. Oh, but I go by the maxim, it's better to be overdressed than not. So I was dressed, right? and so I was fine, right? And people complimented on it. They talked about it. They said, I like your dress. I like but it set the stage. If you want to win, when you walk into a room, you have to control the environment in the room. And you have to feel that you're in control of the environment. You have to feel that, and the way you do that is you take authority. When you walk in, make sure that, because being dressed communicates confidence to you. Because one of the reasons that I make, you make sure that you look good is so you don't have to worry. Is something showing that it shouldn't be showing? Is something not there that should be? Do I look funny? Or when you are dressed properly, you're confident. So you're able to walk into the room with confidence. Being dressed has nothing to do with brand names. Most people use brand names to communicate the idea that they're successful. They want other people to view them as being successful, and they want people to view them as being wealthy and rich and well-connected and so on. If that is what you're going for, fine. But so you don't have to go out and go spanking dry today to go buy out Armani suits and stuff, put yourself in debt. You can still go down to Men's Warehouse and buy a suit, or KMG and buy a suit for $175 and still look great. Have you been to court lately? People come to court. When I was growing up, people went to court in a suit. Today, people go to court in any old way. Now they have to put up signs saying no flip-flops, no shorts. People go out to eat, and people walk into restaurants with no shirts on. Be careful. It's not comfortable for me or anyone else, because hepatitis A and B is a reality. I might not be comfortable with your body sweats rubbing up against me or coming near what I'm going to eat. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with going somewhere. In fact, I like going somewhere and see where it says shoes and shirts are required, or proper attire is required. Recently, my daughter wanted to go out. We wanted to go celebrate her birthday. And the restaurant she wanted to go to, I was shocked. They sent an email afterwards with a laundry list of what not to do. I was so appalled. I canceled the reservation, because I'm like, the inference that if I'm going to make a reservation somewhere, you have to tell me to dress. I probably don't want to eat at your establishment. I was turned off. I was very, very turned off, because it was not the thing to do. I felt offended that you had to tell me how to dress. And my children were, they're Generation Z and Generation Y. So they were like, Mom, it's because people today don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to dress for different environments. Everything is not the same. If you're going out to dinner at a casual establishment, casual dining establishment like Applebee's or Red Lobster's, it's not the same thing as going somewhere else where a typical dinner is $100 a plate. It might not say it's $100 a plate, but by the time you add the appetizer and the main course and the drink to it, your dinner is $100, right? Whereas at Applebee's, you get three for 20. That's a whole different dining experience, right? Similarly, you're going for an interview. Put your clothes on. It communicates confidence and it gives the interviewer the idea that you're capable of doing exactly what you're capable of. Now, if you're applying for a tech job and so on, you investigate before you go to see what the prevailing culture of the space is so that you can dress accordingly. If they're more comfortable, just put a blazer on with an open neck shirt and you're good to go. If you're ladies, wear a dress, a nice dress, right? With a bloody blazer over it or a sweater over it that communicates that I'm attired properly. If they're more comfortable wearing jeans and so on, think about that. Is that how you show up for the interview, though? Chances are you might get in, but you may not get to where you want to be. First impressions do matter, right? First impressions do matter. And I think in a lot of ways, we forget that. We have to get back to the business of knowing you can always look nice. You can always communicate sexiness and appeal. You can always do that, but there are ways to do it. So I just wanted to stop by this morning and to talk about that for a little bit and ask, what are you dressed up for? Are we dressed the right way? What's the point in putting on a suit to be laid out on a funeral pyre? Maybe wear a suit when you are going for an interview. Maybe wear a suit when you're going to a wedding, right? Maybe wear a suit when you're going to an event that requires that. I'm not talking about going to a concert to see your favorite artist perform. Of course, anything goes in that venue because you never know what can happen, right? But wear a suit when you're going out. I love invitations that announce what kind of event it is. When we were growing up, they used to tell us how to dress for after 6 and what kind of fabric that your clothing should be made of for different events. Seriously, those were more formal times, I guess, but it's something that has stayed with me even through the years. Recently, I was going to be on TV to be interviewed to talk about human trafficking, and it was winter. So I wanted to communicate something, but I didn't want to wear a blazer. So I wore a dress with longer sleeves, right? That looked appropriate. I wore heels so that I projected confidence, right? And knowledge. You wanted to do that because it's important to do that. Made sure my face was carefully made up, right? Groomed and everything. These are things that are not popular. No one wants to talk about this stuff. I kid you not. People want to do what they want to do to reap the results that they want to get. And in fact, most of you who are Generation Ys and Generation Zs, you're probably saying, well, that's what works for your environment. Wait until you hit 40. Then you're going to find yourself going back and saying, wait, just a minute, right? So I wanted to stop by. And if you know someone, if you know someone who lives in any city across the country, they will tell you it is not unusual to see people dressed to the nines. I heard of one funeral in which they had this young man laid out. And I was like, how much did it cost to do that? Waste. Put it in use while you are here. This is why I say, while you are here, yet live. And live gloriously. Live your life. Get up every day and I kid you not. I have clothing in my closet that still have tags on it. And every morning I look at them and I want to yank the tags off. But more importantly, I want to wear it. Because what's the point in buying something and not wearing it? Every day, get up and put your clothes on. Right now it's summer, so we're a little bit more casual, dressed because of the weather. You want to, be freer because in a few months, we're back to wearing multi-layered clothing. Not fun around these parts. Nah, I don't even like that. So in the meantime, but if I had somewhere to go today or a meeting to attend, which I think I do at 1:30 today, there's a meeting that I should go to, I'm going to cover up. I'm still going to show up. It's still summer, probably still wear sandals because the kind of meeting I'm going to is just really one of those where you show your face. But I'm still going to go in with professionalism in mind. A lot of what we do, even when the Google Boys show up, they might be dressed casually, but their demeanor projects professionalism. Even if you are pitching a story about what you want for a network to do, you could be wearing hoodies and jeans and t shirts. The important thing is your attitude and your manner. What are you projecting? It's one thing to show up looking casual, but what about your manner? You can't be casual about the things that matter to you. If this is your life's work, this is what is important to you, you cannot be casual about it because you're sending a message to the universe that you don't care and that it doesn't matter. You're telling the universe, the people around you, that it doesn't matter. But this is your life's work. This is what you want to do. Project the right attitude. Make sure that you're dressed appropriately. Every morning, make sure you look in your mirror. There are mirrors in my closet. There are mirrors on the stairs coming down my bedroom, right? There are mirrors in my bedroom. Why? I want to make sure that I look appropriate. I don't want to arrive somewhere and stuff is out, right? And not where they should be, right? So make sure that you present the right attitude. It's all in the way that you look, how you feel about yourself. Are you giving it your best shot? Are you doing the best that's available for you? For some of us, you know what we do? We tend to just do whatever, but make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you're doing the right. One of these days, I'm going to put up something behind me that identifies what the right thing is so people can see it, right? Make sure that you are presenting the right image that's appropriate for what you want to do. Don't just show up, show out. Make sure you look great, that you're doing what is good, and enjoy it. It's summer, so I'm not going to keep you long today because, like everyone else, we want to go out in style. We want to enjoy summer. We want to live life gloriously. We want to be able to communicate and to live and enjoy ourselves. It's summer. Go out and live gloriously. Have a plan of action every day, all day, and make sure that you live gloriously, right? It's summer. It's Thursday. As for me, I will be headed to a pool sometime soon. I'm not going to tell you where and when, right? I'm not a pool person per se because I don't enjoy the pool during the day. The sun is too hot for me, right? So I can't sit there and roast in the heat. I enjoy it when the sun goes down and every one of you are looking at me like, right? But it's true. I prefer the sun later. I prefer the pool later. I enjoy looking out at the water when it's nice and it's not roasting, because today is going to be another scorched earth day, right? So go out and enjoy it. Live your life. Live it comfortably. Live gloriously. Show up every day. Be ready for what is good for you. Project your confidence. Be the best you that you can be. Show what you can do and be the best you. There are people out right now. Some people are out on a lake fishing. People are out on Lake Michigan. People are by the beach building sandcastles, having fun. Live your life gloriously, because after all, this is all going to be a memory in a few. We live in North America. And if it's one thing we're sure of, it gets colder, right? It will get cold, right? So live your life comfortably, live your life gloriously, live your life with passion, show up and show out. If all you are going to do, some places that I go to, I make sure that I show up. I make sure that when I show up, that I show up, right? So they know that I am there. Project yourself, inhabit your space. The space you occupy is yours. Inhabit it. Make sure you dominate in that space. Make sure you live gloriously, right? All right. So it's Thursday morning. Join me tomorrow. We continue our summer series. We just talk about the things that matter. Make sure you tune in and join us. As usual, share this video with others. If it has been a blessing to you, let others know. that they can tap into the blessing that you yourself are receiving. Thank you so much, everybody. Be blessed. Hey, loves you. Thank you.